Well, you didn't have much of a choice. If you were between 16 and 50, you had to be in the militia. It was for home defense. And even before the Revolutionary War, there was a militia because of the French and Indian Wars. So this was something that was already in place before the Revolutionary War started.
Well, that's a very complicated question. I'd like to be home taking care of my family, but my duty lies here, sir. So we are here to defend our home and hearth. Though I fear that if we spend much time here, I'll miss the harvest.
It was pretty difficult. If your family's farm fell behind enemy lines, you frequently had no choice than to follow your husband. The women were usually kept separate from the soldiers. They had their own camp along with the children, but they could get hired to do work here. Doing laundry, cooking for the officers, mending clothes, nursing sick or injured soldiers, which would of course free other soldiers up to do the fighting.
In a Continental Regiment, it wasn't too bad, especially in our case we're assigned to protect the Major General. So we lived better than the average soldier. We had good food most of the time. We had tents to sleep in. We had blankets. We had most of our things carried in wagons. So it was a lot different than living in a militia unit or another Continental Regiment where they don't have the luxury of a Major General to travel with.
Life in the Continental Army is good. For example, supplies of food. We've got more ammunition coming from Albany. It seems as though we have militia coming from all over New England, New York, even some New Jersey men, I'm told. Life is good.
Well, I'm away from my family. We certainly aren't equipped like the regulars for this kind of duty. We came here to find that we weren't to be issued tents because other groups had been issued tents, so we're out in the weather. We're not paid for the duty. We're expected to serve to fulfill legal obligations. I have to risk my own arms and my own equipment. It's very hard, sir, very hard. But the cause is just.
Life is good. Life is good. Certainly better than it is on our esteemed foe over there. I understand they're down to quarter rations.
Well, the Continental Army is disorganized. The leadership here in New York, they've fired their best general, General Schuyler, and have appointed their worst general, General Gates. They don't pay their soldiers with money, they pay them with paper. They don't pay their soldiers at all, really, so that when they do get the paper, it's 2 years out of pay. Inferior weapons, inferior leadership, inferior clothing.